You have to plan weekly and execute daily. You cannot win the week unless you win the day.
Welcome to the Vistage Podcast series. I'm Dave Nelson, a Vistage member since 2003, part of CEO Group 676 here in Pittsburgh, and your podcast host. Every episode, we get to connect with an extraordinary business leader to get valuable ideas to apply in our own organizations. Today, we're going to talk about, now we changed the title, folks. We're going to call it, If You Fail to Plan, Plan on Being Too Busy. But instead, we're just going to call it Busyness is Laziness. Awesome. And my guest today is Jason Hartanov. Hey, Jason, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Dave. Happy to be here. I'm excited.
Yeah, so let me tell people a little bit about you. Jason is a professional coach, mentor, and speaker who is on a mission to help entrepreneurs exponentially grow their businesses so they can live a purpose-filled and inspired life. He's the CEO of Hartanov Enterprises, which was formed to equip and inspire leaders with the skills, expertise, and strategies to live boldly and reach their full potential. He's a sought-after speaker, an expert in entrepreneurial leadership, personal growth, mindset, and business strategy. Jason's had to learn to be super productive because he runs 2 businesses, he's married, and he has 4 children, all girls. He also loves to surf, travel, work out, and serve the underprivileged in third world countries. So with all that, Jason, you must be very good at applying these tools. So tell us,
Absolutely.
Why did you recommend we change the title, Busyness is Laziness?
Because, actually the first time I heard that, I didn't tagline it. I've heard it and I'm like, oh my gosh, what does that mean, right? And Dave, we've talked about how, busyness is this little trophy, this little,
it's my badge.
Medal of honor.
I'm so busy,
it's a medal
right?
of honor,
I'm
right?
so important.
I'm so important, busyness. And then it's like, busyness is laziness. What do you mean lazy? I work hard, I'm not busy. But I'm going to show you the principle of that. The reason you are busy is because you're being lazy. And how does that play out? And, one of the things we've shaped this out is like, where do we get this how do we get in this situation? Is this premise or this belief system that's been handed down. And we've been indoctrinated in this lie that says that you've got to work quickly, that sooner and faster is better. And things like early bird gets the
worm. Yep.
Worm, right? Or, so you got to start working early. Or I've heard things like idle hands and an idle mind is the devil's playground. So you got to stay busy, keep going. Don't be idle, keep moving, right? And people are counting on you. So you got to respond really fast. Like people, show up and respond quickly or they'll think you're slackers. And if you want to speed up, you got to go faster, right? And the last one is, the sooner you can get to work, the better. You got to start early and start often and go forward. And so we got to buy into this lie of like, I got to jump right into my day. And honestly, you'll find out I don't have time for planning. I don't have time to think about that. I just got to get to work. And it's a very blue collar mentality.
So you see that with a lot of the CEOs and entrepreneurs that you interact with. How does that show up then in their business or in their life?
Yeah, and so, good question. I think the first thing, and everybody will relate to this, if you have this kind of, if you've been indoctrinated in this belief system, which is you jump right out of bed, and what's the first thing you jump into? It's email. Like not even getting out of bed, you grab your smartphone, you're looking at the email because somebody might need me. Something might have happened from 10 p.m. until 5:30 in the morning. Holy smokes, my business may be on fire. I better check email, right? So we jump into that, and you feel overwhelmed. By the way, if you feel overwhelmed with the work that's piling up and you don't know where to start, like you're like, I don't know where to go. I got 52 things I got to do today, and everything feels like a priority. So everything's a priority. Oh, this, that. What do I do? And
okay. So what really causes that? I mean, we're in a world of exploding information, right? I've read that we've got 10 times more information than we had just 3 years ago, right? Now there's all the social media stuff and all the apps, and it's crazy. So other than that, what's causing it?
Yeah, by the way, the world's showing up, so it's challenging us. I think one of the core beliefs that hold us back is I don't have time to plan because I have too much work to do. So planning feels like this just waste of time. It's like it's another activity. I have too much work to do, so I don't have time to plan, right? And then people are depending on me, so I need to be available to them at all times. People depend. I'm responsible for their success, and I don't want to be the person that holds them back. So, they're depending on me. I have to be available. And if I don't respond right away, people will think less of me. And if I have the most energy when I first wake up. So that's when I should jump right into work. Look, I slept, I'm energetic, jump right into work. I need to start doing things right away. If I start moving, good things happen. I just need to start moving. That's kind of the core beliefs that are handed down to us that we adopt.
And you alluded to the lack of planning, and this is where you're going with your laziness title, isn't it?
Yes, it is. You
right.
got it. See, that's why, Dave, I like it. You're smart. You picked it up. So here's the old belief, which is I don't have time to plan because I have too much work to do. So we have to flip that and check out what the opposite of that is to see the truth of the opposite, which is I don't have time to plan because I don't have time because of too much work to do. The opposite is I have to make time to plan because I have too much work to do. Right. And that's the core notion of that. Because you have too much to do is the time to plan, because planning is the most important task with science and some of these psychology. And you can see different stats. But basically, for 1 hour time of planning, you save 6 to 8 hours on the back end. Right, for every time. So actually, if you have time press, the best thing you can do is actually plan. Imagine if a road trip, Dave, if you and we're going on a road trip and you and I want to get to a destination the fastest, and you decide, I just need to start driving. So, we're going to go to, and so you jump in your car, you're like, I got to get out of the garage the fastest. So you jump in your car and you just start driving. You're like, I know I need to go south, so I'm just going to head south for the border. I'm going south, right? And then I sit back and I go, see you later, Dave, good luck. Because guess what? I go to Google Maps, I plot out the exact map, I go to my GPS in my car, I actually design all the turns along the way. And let me tell you something, as you're lost in the road doing who knows what, I'm going to pass right by you. Right? Because the turtle's going to beat the hare, right? Because you're spinning around, whatever. So the fact is planning is the most important thing we can do, and the reason we're lazy, right? Busyness is laziness, because if you plan, you won't be busy, because you'll know what are my priorities, what do I need to get done, and then you'll build the GPS roadmap to get there, and you'll get there in the most efficient way.
So if you're super busy, it's an indicator perhaps that you are failing to plan.
Right, because you can't do everything. And we know as entrepreneurs, CEOs, there is always more to do. So now you don't know what your priorities are, because I can only do a few things, right? If everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. So the fact of the matter is you've got to be able to prioritize and say, look, I don't need to do 20 things. I need to do the 3 most important things. Then I don't feel busy. I feel in control. I don't feel overwhelmed because I've let go of the 7 that are less valuable and I focus on the 3 that are the most valuable.
Okay, fabulous. So do you have some tools that you bring to your clients to help with this?
Yeah, I think the first thing, and I know you're passionate about this too, is what I call routines. You have to have a morning success routine and a nighttime success routine. The morning success routine, imagine if you will, an athlete, we just had the Olympics, right? The athlete comes in and they're like, they come to the stadium, they don't have a plan, they don't have a routine, they don't stretch, they don't hydrate. All they do is just run, and they're like, I got up and I'm just going to get out of my pajamas and run the race, right? We'd be like, no, that doesn't make any sense. You need a success routine about when you wake up. It's about good nutrition. It's about exercise. If you ask like Oprah or Richard Branson what their number 1 success strategies, they tell you exercise. Reduces stress, gets you productive, gives you more energy. If I have more energy, then I'm going to do that. So the first is routines. The second is you have to plan weekly and execute daily. You cannot win the week unless you win the day. So focus on winning the day. The way I do that with my clients is we pick 2 to 3 things that are the critical must for the day, and we hyper focus. Now, one of the cool tips that I've used, Dave, as a side note, is you have to write them down. I have a whiteboard, and every day as I'm doing my planning before I start my work, I don't jump into email. I plan my day. I look at my 2 to 3 critical musts that support my weekly plan. I write them down. There's neuroscience that actually supports why you write them down. Mm-hmm. And then I look, like right now, there's my whiteboard. I look every day at my top 3 and I focus on the top 3. And then at the end of the day, guess what I do? I celebrate the fact that I accomplished my top 3. That actually has a lot of confidence and psychology supporting the small celebrations. You want to keep celebrating. So that's another tip. The last one I'll tell you as a tip, Dave, is really important, and that's what I call time blocking. If you don't know anything about time blocking, guys and gals, go study time blocking, because here's the thing: is a time block is basically an appointment with yourself to do a critical project or activity. So if I need to write a paper or I need to respond to something, then I block in my calendar 30 minutes, set an appointment with myself, which is non-negotiable, and I spend that 30 minutes doing that project. Now, you want tools like Google Calendar or other tools like that to help you be able to time block. I know some of you have Outlook and other things, but get a calendar program that allows your personal, professional. A little tip, my wife, I know where her calendar is. It's connected, so I don't have to ask her what she's doing or my team's doing. I can just look at their calendar to know what they're doing. So I think some of these tools are important ways plan weekly, execute daily, focus on time blocks, focus on effectiveness, and build the GPS. My calendar is my GPS roadmap to getting those 3 things done. That's how I focus my days.
That's fabulous. And my wife and I have recently, we use Google Calendars, and it's very easy to share those. And so I can see her stuff, she can see mine. I mean, it's a great efficiency practice.
Absolutely.
He also reminded me that I love this little task manager for recording my tasks called Wunderlist, which is now part of Microsoft, and it's been integrated to Outlook, and so it's only getting better.
Oh, absolutely. It's like you said, a lot of people are afraid of technology. There are so many technology tools to help us be effective and efficient. And so, and to plan and to have that. And so, find what works for you is my recommendation. Look, research, there's apps, there's all kinds of things. But I would also say this is, remember, you're the racehorse that's going to, if you bought $1 million racehorse, you wouldn't feed it bad hay and feed it alcohol. You wouldn't stay up watching Jay Leno or, whatever. You would take the horse, you would treat it like the athlete it is. You would drink the best water, feed it the best hay, and you'd go run the race. Well, here's what I tell my clients. Every day you're running the race, right? You have to have a routine for success so that you can run your race. That's why people always ask me, how do you get so much done? Because my energy level is so high because I hydrate, I work out, I do the things that actually give me the success. So that's another key component is not only just planning, but also success routines.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Exercise and good nutrition and sleep. I mean, it's all part of it, but you do have a lot more energy. Fantastic. So is there a closing thought or question you want to leave our audience with?
Yeah, I would say this is number one is planning is one of the most productive tasks you can do. Do not buy the lie that I just got to do more and work faster and work sooner. Plan every day. Spend 30 minutes every morning. My challenge is this week alone, just spend 30 minutes starting your day saying, what would a winning day look like to me? What do I need to accomplish? It's only 3 things. Don't pick 12. Pick 3 things that you really got to get accomplished. Now, if you want other tools that I have a website, Dave, called bestproductivitytips.com, bestproductivitytips.com. Go there and I'll send you the 17 tips like we've been talking about, Dave, about what can I do to get more productivity without doing more. I'm going to tell you, don't do more, do less. So that's another thing I would love to leave you with.
All right, Jason Hartanov, thanks for explaining to us why busyness is laziness. It was great having you on the podcast today.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Hey, folks, if you're interested in learning more about Vistage, please check out Vistage.com. It's a great way to take your business to the next level. Thanks for watching or listening to this episode of the Vistage Podcast series. We hope this information helps you accelerate your business without working harder. Take care. All right.
Yes. All right.